Hello everybody, my name is Jack the Goddess, and today we are playing Minecraft version 1.2. I do have a few goals before we start. The first is to find a desert, next is to find a jungle, and finally build a brand new structure for my world. Maybe more. Anyway, let's get right into it.
So the first thing I did was I looked around the house. I just kind of checked out what I had going on, because it's been a while. Oh, I forgot to mention that there are jungles now, there are desert wells, there are ocelots that can now turn into cats, and I guess some stuff happened with that. Anyway. And then there are iron golems that spawn in villages now, so I'm going to be doing that at some point, maybe, probably, perhaps. Alright, so the next order of business is I go through all of my stuff, I see what I have, and I get some of the materials for the next big project, or the first big project. Anyway, after I get everything done with the chests, I go upstairs on the roof, and I start making another cube like the rest of the house looks. But this time, it's not a part of, well, I guess it is technically part. Anyway, it's gonna be a train track. Look at this, it's so cool. Next, with the train track, I'm kind of looking for designs, so I'm giving it a little bit of a, I'm putting pillars down, as you can see right here, and then I'm gonna kind of give it a shape with these stairs right here. So after that, I just kind of continued, you know, making it longer and longer, and I kind of got rid of some of the stuff around, like trees, and I built into the ground a little bit, etc. And I went on top of this mountain, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just look around until I find something. So eventually I did find this desert. So as I said in the beginning of the video, there are a few things, one of them being the desert well. So I kind of scoured the desert a little bit to find one, and it's super small and fucked up. Like, look at this. Yeah, it's like all chunk bordery. Early Minecraft was a little rough. Anyway, there was no well, so I just kind of gave up, but I did decide that this is where my railroad was going to end, at least for like the first portion of it. And look how many fucking cacti there are, dude. I've never seen this many cacti in like one spot. It's insane. So after I was done with the desert, I just kind of went back towards the house and I worked on the railroad again. So you might be asking yourself, Jack, why? Why no rails? And I'll tell you, dear viewer, or just me, I actually do go get the stuff to make the rails. I go into the chest and then I start smelting, and as soon as it's done, I make my very first set of rails. I didn't know they came in 16s. I might be crazy, but you know what? It's okay, because that's a lot, and number's good. After I make a couple sets of the rails, I go upstairs. I think I sleep first. Yep. Looks like I sleep first. And then I go upstairs, and then I put down about 7, and I leave one space open for the powered rails, which I suddenly remember right here. So after I grabbed everything, I tried to make it, and I got confused and totally didn't look up the crafting recipe on my phone. And then eventually I figured it out. After I actually grabbed the powered rails, I just went around and I filled in all the gaps that I left for myself strategically, and it was cool. I decided to put some like stairs next to the powered rails just so it would have a spot for the redstone torch to power it. But unfortunately, stairs don't turn upside down easily in this update, so I just kind of switched it out for cobblestone. After all the cobble was placed, I started putting all the torches next to it. After all that hard work of placing torches, I just had to go take a nap, so after some well-deserved shut-eye, I went out for a walk because, you know, I had to get some scenery in. I was just focused too much on this railroad. I just needed to take a breath. And I made some friends. Just look at them. Wow. Wow is right. Anyway, on my way back, I grabbed some sugarcane, and then I decided to continue working on the railroad thing. But instead of actually working on the railroad just yet, I wanted to make it a little bit nicer. So I kind of made it a roof. A little bit. Yeah, anyway. I add some more rails to the cobblestone that's already been placed down, and then as soon as I feel like I've gone far enough, I just build the cobblestone really, really far out. Like, and around this point is where I stop. Whoops, and I head back, and then guess what I did? The moment you've been waiting for. First thing I did when I woke up is I made a minecart, and then I made some more tracks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the real moment you've been waiting for. I put it down. And then I go, just so I can put more tracks. So after I ran out of rails, I realized that I was kind of hungry. Look at that teleport, oh my god. Anyway, I realized I was hungry, so I went back to the garden, and I got a bunch of wheat, and, you know what happens to that, of course. And then later, I decided to continue building out with the cobblestone. I'm kind of jumping around, don't you worry about it. But I go to the cobblestone, and then as soon as I run out of all of that, I realize that I'm really far out, but there is a giant thing of water under me, so I just jump for it. While I'm down here, I find a little cave entrance, so I go in and almost immediately find a new friend, if you catch my drift, and some coal. And with some old-fashioned spelunking done, I leave the cave. So after leaving the cave, I obviously just head home, and then I sleep, so that's pretty cool. And then the next day, I grabbed all the materials that I needed, and I just went right back to where I stopped, where I jumped down. And the only goal right now is to get to the desert, so blam, here we are. So now that we're in the desert, we need to start building down, because just look how fucking high we are. Anyway, I start building down with water buckets, because I'm like, oh, well, that's an awesome idea, you know? And we get down a little bit here, but we end up kind of wanting to go down and get the materials that we lost, and that didn't turn out super well. As you can see, I died. That is death number 1. So whenever Minecraft actually gets statistics, that will be it will say 1. I was hoping it'd say 0 until then, because I think that's like 10 updates from now, you know? So I don't know. I thought it was gonna be cool, but anyway, yeah, I run back, as you can see, and I grab everything I can, which was everything. So now with all my stuff back and situated in my inventory, I decided to go back up the waterfall and continue the staircase down. And now that I'm traumatized, I made a weird little dirt platform that will eventually turn into something. So pretty afraid of losing another, life number thing, whatever. I stayed on this dirt platform until the sun came up. So that was pretty boring. I think I was just on like TikTok or my phone or something. Anyway, after that, after the sun started coming up, I decided that it might be a good idea to go look around up on the train track area. But obviously there's no tracks yet, but I went on top of the cobblestone stairs and I looked around and I saw some endermans, so I decided to make a little area where I could get them. So that was a bust. Anyway, I head back down the staircase, and I go down to like the actual desert part, to the ground, and I decided that it's really cool that this chunk here is here, because there's a giant opening to this cave. And then I just kind of go mining for a while. The main reason, if I remember correctly, was just kind of to get more resources, because rails take a lot of iron. Like, I just destroyed my iron supply, so I think that's pretty much what I'm looking for here. After I was pretty much through, I went back up to the surface and I decided to connect the actual ground with the staircase down for the rails, just so it'd be a lot more easy access. And then I decided to also make a little platform out of wood to actually start the new base area. So after I kind of decided that I think I have enough going on here to kind of go back to finish the railway, like the actual rails to get here, I make some ladders to go back up, as you can see here, and then I just head on home. Dude, wasn't that so cool? Kind of a fourth wall break and all, but like, I am so proud of that edit. Oh my god. Anyway, so as you can see right here, I'm mining iron. I'm in the cave for like at least 10 minutes just mining iron, so you didn't really miss much. Also, for those of you that don't know why I'm in a cave suddenly, I don't either. I think I just forgot to start recording after I was like, oh, I need iron or something. I really don't know. I got COVID, and this was like 6 months ago that I started recording this, so this is forever ago now. And blam, I'm out of the cave. So as soon as I get out of the cave, I go back into the house, and then I kind of replenish all the furnaces. By all the furnaces, I mean the one. And then I go back out to the smelting area, that little weird brick dome thing. And I replenish some of the coal in there to smelt a bunch of iron, because we just got about a stack and a half of iron for these rails. We're gonna need a lot more than that, to my knowledge, though. I don't actually remember. Anyway, Next thing I do is I go inside, smelt the gold, blah, blah, blah. And then I suddenly remember that we have bones. So I make it into bone meal, and then I go grow the wheat for whatever reason. After that was done, I decided to go back to the farm. I think I collected some eggs or something, but the skeleton was attacking me, so I went to hit him, which set off a chain reaction here. So that was fun. Anyway, after the creeper exploded, I kind of put back what I could. Like, if I had the materials, I put it back. In the end, I couldn't fix the glass here, so I put gravel in it. So I hate asking people to subscribe, so if you could do me a favor and just like the video, that's it. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to subscribe, don't have to comment. If you could just like the video, that'd be rad, and it'll show it out to more people because YouTube likes interaction. So that'd be great. Thank you. Once all the stuff I felt was done smelting, like the gold here and the iron here, I took all those resources and then I started making more tracks, and then I just kind of spent the rest of the day putting tracks down. So somewhere after I'm done with the tracks for the day, I noticed that I was actually putting fences down on top of the roof. I guess I was just redecorating the roof, making sure it looked nice. So it is finally time to do other things than railway. Anyway, so here are cows, slaughtering, of course, the basics, of course. Then I go for the chickens, and then later I kind of do some stuff around the house. Like I learned from a mistake earlier where a creeper kind of destroyed the house. So I killed this creeper via bow, which is new for me, kind of, sort of. I'm learning. So now that I used some arrows, I'm pretty sure that might have even been the last one. Anyway, I made some more arrows because I'm about to go down to the caves and I might as well take it just in case. And then I also make some food, and then now I'm ready. So here we go, a long ass cave expedition. I sound like a tool when I said expedition. Are you kidding me, dude? Anyway, I go down the staircase and I want resources. So I go to the main ravine because that's where I've gotten a solid amount of resources, right? I look around for a while. The first thing I grab is some coal and then some iron. And then after, that, I kind of started a strip mine right here where all this gravel and iron is, until I find some redstone and then some gold and then something really, really cool and interesting. Yeah, it was a creeper. But look at this, I killed it. Wow, awesome. And then, and also a second creeper, and then, wow, it's dead also. And then, yeah, diamonds. So after I was done with that, I kind of just kept going until I found about 18 more diamonds, because I got 2 here, as you can see, and then there's 18 more when I checked back at the end of the mining trip. So, so it was actually 17 in total. Anyway, so, now we just kind of smelt everything we've got, and then we add more rails. We're so close to actually hitting the desert at this point that you can actually see it. Well, right here on the left and right here where I end it. So I'm kind of out of all the resources that I need to make more tracks out here. Like, I've got redstone, but I don't have any gold or iron to make any regular tracks. So I just kind of head back by riding the minecart back to my main house, which I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I'm saving that for later for a special edit. And then my iron armor is kind of low, so I start making diamond armor, everything except for boots, because I was like, well, I might as well just make all the more expensive stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So after I made that armor, I put it away into the first chest, where all I got my first stuff. And then I ended up going onto the train tracks all the way back to the desert, just so I can add the rest of the tracks. I don't have any powered rails because I don't have any more gold lying around at all. So I got that done. I placed it all down, and then I went back to the main house again, and then I went down into this cave so I can get more gold. So weirdly enough, I actually went pretty far into the cave, and I ended up finding the sheep and then some chickens, so that was cool. So I did find some gold, as you can see right here with the spider battle going on and the zombie. Anyway, after that, I kind of went around. I found some more gold right there. Wow, amazing. And then I found some diamonds while I was just kind of exploring to find even more. I got a little greedy, but yeah, anyway, so I got some more diamonds. I went back up. So as I was leaving the cave, I didn't know where I was, so I just kind of picked a direction, and it happened to be right. The first thing I did when I got back home was I actually did make the boots. That was the first thing, and then I replaced all of the diamond armor in that chest with my iron armor, and I head downstairs to enchant all of it. So that was pretty cool. I never really enchant my anything, so I thought it'd be kind of neat just to do it, I guess. And then I went up and I checked how much gold I had, and then I smelted what I just got, and then I started making the tracks, and then I headed back out. So here we are in the desert. and that's it. We put in the tracks, they're already all powered. We are officially done. Isn't that insane? Now with the video. There's so much more to do.
So, now that the train tracks are done for this version at least, I've decided to make this platform into a kind of a train station house type thing. First, I think of designs because I feel like it should be kind of special. So I start by getting some sandstone from this cave chunk area, which is next to where we're at right now. Only getting roughly 36 sandstone, which as you can imagine isn't enough, but this is just kind of a rough idea. So we'll go back to get some more resources as we go. To start with, I destroyed the old cobblestone pillars on the corners that are already there, and it starts to become a little more familiar, but whatever, that's not important. For the main material, I chose to make the pillars sandstone and the base wood oak, and look at that, there's a forest right next to the desert. Once I grab some wood as I'm coming back, you can see I put some piles of sand on the side of what will be a wall, or walls, I guess. I wanted to give this place kind of a windswept look, and I thought this looked pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool idea. And don't worry, I took some sand from random areas and kept it looking sort of natural still, so you can't really tell. After I lined the walls with smooth sandstone, I put some oak in a random kind of pattern, but gave up on it almost immediately and filled in all the walls instead. Once they were completely filled, I cut some out and put stairs in it to make it look like the wood is kind of warping and holes are being created. Also adding some birch wood for texture. For me, it was kind of to symbolize that the sun was kind of in that area, because that's where the sun rose and where it was throughout the day. So I wanted to make it look kind of like the oak wood is losing its color, like sun bleaching. Then I didn't really like that and realized birch wood doesn't have any stairs yet, so I just kind of made it 99% oak anyway. One of the last things I do before I move on from this build is add a ceiling, because it's sort of tacky to not even have one yet. But soon after I went up there, I quickly ran out of materials and promptly forgot about it after I went back down. So looking at the house as it is right now, I realize it looks an awful lot like our main house, just more sandstony and in a desert. Oh well. Next, I proceeded to stand in the top room all night and suddenly decided that I should probably start looking for some of those new things, like a desert well and a jungle. First thing that I wanted to do was choose a direction. There was no like actual directions in the F3 menu, like northwest, whatever. So I just kind of guessed on how the sun rises. Yeah, I'm just cool like that. So I'm pretty sure this video is gonna end up longer than an hour at this point if I explain the whole journey. So here's a quick edit with the song I like. Simple yet effective. Let me tell you, the jungle that we found here is kind of the holy grail of exploration, for specifically my case. As was established in the beginning of the video, I planned on finding two things, a jungle and a well, and other stuff, but these two are the most important right now. I found a jungle, so that's already huge, but I still have to find the desert well, which it's gonna be a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Before we do anything with the jungle, I would want to explore the desert, mostly because it's already so vast and open. I'm more likely to see a well if I run around for, let's say, approximately 42 seconds. Next on the list is the fabled jungle exploration. And before I show you anything, just know my birthday was on Earth Day, so give me a pass on any hypothetical deforestation acts here, please. Anyway, when I felt like I had done enough irreversible damage to the environment, I moved upwards, like New York in the 1800s. Not with brick and steel, but with wood and hope. The hope to not fall off and lose all my items. You know, I've been playing Minecraft for about 10 years, and I've been trying to make a cool treehouse since I was a kid, and I still can't. They just look bad. Anyway, here you go, a 2-story treehouse complete with glass windows somehow. Now there was one last thing I had to get done, and you know your boy likes the natural look. So I wanted to get to the roof to make sure the leaves up there look kind of nice and are basically covering the house. I got some vines next to the stairs to make it basically into a ladder. Then I took whatever jungle leaves I had to make it look kind of overgrown on top, but I think I forgot to sneak while decorating. So tragedy struck and I fell. You might be like, no, wait, you slept in a bed. Yeah, well, I might have broken that bed when I was building the treehouse. Why? Who knows?
Anyway, I had a long journey back, so I ran along the train tracks and headed back to the desert house and retraced my steps to the jungle. Now, it's been a while and I thought I was lost, but no, there, shining on the jungle floor atop all the leaves, was my stuff. I don't know if you know the pure joy of finding your stuff when you're super far from home, but this feeling was amazing, and there isn't much like it. That's probably why I still play this game after 10 or so years. You know, I might be like a veteran or whatever of Minecraft, but I can tell you I play to enjoy myself. Not so much to get stuff done. Having projects set in stone is kind of new to me. Speaking of projects, I was done with the jungle house and with heights. So I walked back across the desert one last time, hoping to find a well, and of course, no luck, but there's more time to look later. For now, I walked back toward home and stumbled back through the taiga biome I found on my way to the jungle. And I realized just how much I love snow in Minecraft. It's just so peaceful. So I decided to make a small cabin. It being a new build, I wanted to make it slightly different in how it was built. So first I made the base logs, like right here. And then I put some cobble under that to make it seem like it had some sort of foundation. But while I was chopping down a tree, I heard a zombie groan, which I didn't expect because it was daytime. Yeah, it was a zombie spawner. Weirdly enough, it had no chest in it. I'm not sure if they weren't added yet or if it was some kind of glitch. Anyway, I was done with that and continued building. Next on the list was to build a floor. Cabins usually have wood floors and not carpet. Although I've never actually been to a cabin, but horror movies make it seem that way. Also didn't have any wood. From there, I wanted to make it kind of look like an actual cabin, complete with the sloped roof. I decided the roof to be cobble stairs to make it kind of stand out color-wise, and it would be the only build like it so far in this world. Impressive, I know. Now, it's time to say goodbye to this cabin. Maybe I'll touch it up in another version, but for now, I head back home. I have some stuff I would like to get done before this version is actually finished, which is getting really close now. For starters, there is one more thing I wanted to check and see, and that's if an iron golem spawned in that village we found in 1.0. As I arrive, it doesn't seem to be the case, considering there were no golems around, but while I'm here I wanted to make sure that the villagers wouldn't die to mobs, so I waited for night and then blocked them inside their own houses, to make sure nothing bad will happen to them as versions progress. Which I hear 1.3 adds emeralds and trading, so that's pretty cool. Once I was done saving them, I fought mobs until the sun came up to get some extra XP for enchantments. After I felt like I had done enough, I headed back home and got sort of lost on the way there, but sometime on the journey, I saw the train tracks pretty close to me, which was awesome, because all I had to do was follow it either direction and I was home. Instead of that, I noticed there was a small pool of water with an opening underneath it. I decided to explore it and just kind of kept going deeper and deeper into this cave. You know, I'm an explorer at heart, so I just kept following it and eventually I found a new ravine, which was huge because I've only ever seen the one under my house. Exciting, I know. But instead of actually exploring the ravine, I decided not to because the floor was literally lava and I didn't feel like dealing with that. So I explored the caves going through it and eventually finding a mob spawner. This one, surprisingly enough, had chests in it. I don't know why the other one didn't, but whatever, probably just some sort of glitch. On that journey, I decided to get some resources and I found a bit of gold, so now I can finally power some more rails near that desert base, because the going up doesn't work. Whatever, you'll see. Once I felt like my inventory was full enough with the resources that I got, I climbed my way back out. Turns out, I'm actually pretty close to the main house. Anyway, as I was getting back home, I was kind of hanging out and then I slept for the night. But after that, I immediately wanted to go plant some of the saplings I got. There are only 4 types of wood right now, so I planted a spruce tree and a large jungle tree, just cuz. Wow, those grew quick. Did not expect that. Now for some quality of life stuff. First off is checking to see if I have enough levels to enchant another item. The answer is no. From there, I went back toward the desert house to make the tracks actually make it up that huge slope, and it works. Remarkable. So, now that the railroad works as it was meant to, I ended up asking a friend who happens to have been a professional Minecraft builder how I can make the station look a little more station-y. So he sent me a step-by-step guide on how to build it. First thing I did was get rid of the ground floor of the old building. With that done, I started on the foundation of the build, but I did leave one of the windswept walls for decoration. Also, before we get much further into this, I can show some parts of it, but most of the building footage actually got corrupted or lost. So I'll show you what I can. So now that the foundation is done, I have a base to build off of, but as I said before, the footage was lost or corrupted, so here's all I have as of this moment in time.
The builder I mentioned gave me a layer by layer guide, so while I was building, it went by pretty slowly to begin with, and it was pretty annoying to work around the original building. So here I decided to break it as I went, but I tried to keep the stairs, you know, for ease of access to basically nothing. The design looks beautiful and all, but we quickly found out that some of our materials we were supposed to use didn't actually exist in this version, so I had to improvise. Skipping pretty far ahead here, but now that the train station is officially done, I want to put a side-by-side here to show you the kind of minuscule differences between them. I really don't think you'll even notice anything, but you know, it's here just in case you do. I think mine is better, to be honest. Love you, Lib. Also, this is my absolute favorite reaction I've ever gotten. So that's it. Now that we found a desert, found a jungle, visited an old village, built a building in 3 different biomes, planted some trees close to home, I think it's finally time to move on to the bigger and better things in later versions. I want to mention that I am actually very personally sorry for such a long time in between uploads. I was doing weekly for a while, but stuff started happening in my personal and YouTube life. And if you're new and don't know what I'm talking about, you obviously enjoyed the video enough to get to the end, and to that, I congratulate you and humbly ask for a like or comment, I guess, or to subscribe and not miss when I post 1.3. It's gonna be pretty big. There's a lot of exploring that I'm planning on, and this one took me a month and a half to do, so just imagine how much better that one's gonna be now that I actually know how to script and all this other cool stuff. Anyway, have a good rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this. Bye.